Hello guys, this is Jamie and welcome back to my channel today for the second instalment of the Greek Billionaire Experiment. Now in the first episode we went through the first, second and third years of the experiment. Today we're going to be looking at 5 and 10 years into the future, and we're going to have a look as well at how the clubs have done in European competitions, also alongside the Greek Super League. So we can see from the screen before us that the Greek Super League initially started off 14th in competition reputation. They then jumped up a year later to 12th. They remained at 12th right the way through to 2021 before they took a massive jump up to 8th now, which is really good. They go above the Turkish Super League, the Ukrainian Premier Division, the Russian Premier Division, and they're into single figures, which is exactly what we were looking to do with this experiment. So we've achieved that already. So first things first, I'm going to have a look at the past winners, and we can see that PAOK have added another win. That's 3 wins in 5 years. Panathinaikos have also added a victory to take their second victory within the first 5 years of this experiment, which is really good for both of those teams. So let's go then and have a look first of all at the last couple of seasons. So PAOK, that was the final one we looked at. So it was Panathinaikos that won the 4th season, the penultimate season, with a victory of 5 points there over the rest of the opposition. Olympiakos finishing second, PAOK in third. Xanthi have improved up into 4th position, and it is Hanya and Kakraya who were relegated down to the 2nd division. Now, the most recent season we've had was PAOK back on top with a 3-point victory at the end of season. Panathinaikos in 2nd, Paionios in 3rd with level points, but they finished 3rd on goal difference. Olympiakos down in 4th, another point behind. OFI with a really big performance for them in 5th. Aris in 6th. Xanthi, more disappointing this season, down in 8th. And Apollon and Panetolikos were relegated. Panetolikos were very poor. 14 points only accrued throughout the whole season. That is not a good return. Now, let's go and have a look then at the transfers, shall we? So, last couple of seasons have seen more big money being spent. A variety of different teams which have been spending. There's been some players going in the opposite direction, but it was Dennis Praet who topped the transfer window coming into Olympiakos, and is now valued at just £11 million on 110k a week. Has come and played 31 games for Olympiakos. And various others. Emmanuel Vignato has moved out to Man City from PAOK. Amadou Diawara has gone to Paris Saint-Germain, and various other ones. Florian Koeman out to Augsburg from Olympiakos. Now let's have a look at the next season then. We can see here that David Carmona moved to PAOK for £41.5 million. Had gone to Manchester United from Sevilla, but has now come to PAOK, and he's developing really nicely. A player which has won plenty of awards with Manchester United, and has come in and won the Greek Super League at the first possible opportunity. Mathis Delit has moved from Barcelona to Panathinaikos, £39.5 million. Let's have a quick look at his profile. We can see here 22 years of age, plenty of room for development, and has done really well since coming to the club. 27 appearances in the Greek Super League. Has won a Greek Cup since coming over to Panathinaikos. Kevin Campbell from AC Milan. And we could go through pretty much all of these. We want to Manuel Lanzini from West Ham. Obviously, you guys probably know a hell of a lot about Manuel Lanzini, more than me for that matter. But he's now at Panionios in the Greek Super League. So let's go then. And Panathinaikos, wasn't it? So let's go to Alfred Duncan. Let's have a quick look at the Greek Cup and see. Now, that has risen up to 4th now, which is really good. We started off there in 10th. It moved up to 9th, then crept up to 8th. Spent 2 seasons there before jumping right the way up to 4th in 2022. Goes ahead of the Austrian FA Cup, the Belgian Cup, the French Cup and the Scottish Cup. Just behind the Taça de Portugal, German Cup and the English FA Cup. Now, past winners we can see was AEK. Panathinaikos have won it twice. Panionios and PAOK have added their name to the titles. Let's have a look then, shall we, first of all at the European Champions Cup, also known to you and I as the Champions League. And we can see here that no Greek teams have managed to add their name to the winners part of it. So let's go and have a look then, shall we, start off with Panathinaikos, and we'll have a look at the schedule and see if we can see if they've made any kind of inroads into that. So let's go and have a look. And we've got, first of all then, Panathinaikos in the Euro Cup. They've got through the group stages, but they've been knocked out in the first knockout rounds of the Europa League, as it is known. Then we have the Champions Cup. So they're in the Champions League last season, and it looks like they're not going to get through the group stages, which means no good for them. Who else can we try? We could try Olympiacos. And we can see here that, first of all, did they get through the group stages? They got through the group stages. They got through the first knockout round with a victory over Shakhtar. Very strong 4-0 victory at home before losing the second leg. Then they beat Red Bull Leipzig 3-0. Then they lost 4-2. They got through to the quarterfinals, but it was Liverpool that saw them out of the competition with a brace of 2-0 victories in the quarterfinals. And then last season they were in the Euro Cup, and I don't think maybe they might get through. No, yes, they did. They did get through. So it was Rapid Wien who they picked up a 1-0 victory. They went through on penalties, but were then knocked out in the second knockout rounds against Shakhtar. So we've got Panathinaikos. Let's try PAOK Salonika. See if they've been able to do anything. So European Cup, they've done reasonably well here. So they've got through to the knockout round first leg, where Feyenoord have knocked them out. And the previous season before that, they're in the Champions League. It looks like they might have actually advanced through the Champions League. So they didn't get through the Champions League. They got through to the European Cup first knockout rounds. However, they were beaten and knocked out by Galatasaray. So to date, there hasn't been any movement in the European Cups, although I'm hoping that in the future we may be able to see a little bit better. What we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to skip another 5 years into the future. So it's going to be 10 years in total as part of this second episode. We're going to check basically what we've just done. We're going to have a look at who's been winning the league, what kind of transfers have been made. We're going to have a look also at the European competition performances, and we're also going to have a look at the managers as well, see what kind of managers that have been brought into the Greek Super League. So join me in a second, where we're going to be back with the next part of this experiment. Hello guys, welcome back then. So we have gone another 5 years into the future, and when you left us, we were at, well, we were kind of at, we weren't at this screen, but we were in terms of where we were. So it was PAOK who added the last league title after 5 years. So the next season went to Xanthi, who have made rapid progress. Let's have a look where they finished. They finished 8th down in 21-22, but in 22-23 they won the league by 3 points over PAOK, who were bang there again, and there was good distance clear of Olympiacos in 3rd, Panionios in 4th, AEK and Panathinaikos down in 6th. A poor performance from Panathinaikos. PS Giannia and Ast Tripolis have been relegated down. Very, very surprising that from Xanthi. Now let's have a look who won it next season. It was Olympiacos who added their first league title in this experiment, and it was 6 seasons into it, and they've managed to add their name to the title roll. It's the first time. They won 7 in a row before we went and did this experiment, so it's good to see them back at the top. Panathinaikos back up into 2nd. Panionios, last season's winners Xanthi, slipped down into 4th position, although 2, 3 and 4 were all separated by just goal difference, and I presume it's all matches played against each other, because on that basis Xanthi would be above Panionios. PAOK a point behind in 5th on 53 points. Doxodramas and Panetolikos relegated down to the 2nd division. Platanios back up there as well. It's good to see Platanios doing well. A lovely part of the world, Platanios. Let's have a look then at the next season, 24-25, and PAOK were back on top with a 6-point victory in the Greek Super League. Panathinaikos back up to 2nd, Xanthi in 3rd upper position. Olympiacos dropped down to 4th. Aris with a really good performance in 5th. Larissa 6th, and relatively decent again. Platanios managing to stay above the parapet a little bit longer. Next season after that went to Olympiacos, who ran away with the league with an absolutely dominant performance. 14 points separating them and their nearest pursuers, Aris and Panathinaikos. PAOK in 4th, Panionios in 5th. Xanthi slipped down into 7th position. Levadiakos and Lamia relegated from the league, but this was a real dominant display from Olympiacos in this season. And most recently, Xanthi have added their name back to the title with an equally impressive display. This time 15 points separating them and PAOK and Olympiakos. Panathinaikos down in 4th position, Aris in 5th. And pretty impressive that. Now obviously we're here now 10 seasons into the future, so these fixtures have yet to have been played. But it's good to see the difference, who's winning the league really, and how it's changing hands. So Xanthi have added 2 titles, Olympiakos have added 2, PAOK have kind of sandwiched the pair. Let's go and have a look then at the last time Xanthi picked up a title here in the Greek Super League, because I've got a feeling it's going to be a hell of a long time away, and it might actually be their first. So yeah, it is their first ever title in the Greek Super League. Fantastic stuff for fans of Xanthi. Really great to see. Let's have a quick look, shall we, at what kind of players Xanthi have got in. They've got Gerard Marino in as their captain. They haven't got a manager. Alban Lafont, really good French goalkeeper. Let's have a look then. So we've got Lafont in there. We've got Rafa Soros, Zeka, McDonald Gumede, who's a regen. Some really good players. N'Golo Kante. So Xanthi are absolutely bossing it at the top of the Greek division this season. Now we've also seen a jump up to, they've stayed at 8th pretty much throughout the last few years, but have jumped up to 7th now in 2027. Let's have a quick look then, shall we, at the Greek Cup. Okay then, so let's have a look at the Greek Cup, and we can see here that we've slipped down a position. It did go up to 4th, dropped down to 5th, spent a couple more years at 4th, but has dropped back down to 5th now. The French Cup has moved up, and we can see now that Olympiakos have added 2 to the titles. Aris with a cup victory there, Panathinaikos and Xanthi. Now let's go in and have a look. Have Aris or Xanthi won the Greek Cup before? Aris last won the Greek Cup in 1969, 1970. So they've added their name to the title at some point. But Xanthi have added their first Greek Cup. And it's fantastic to see that we've got a club here in Greece that are actually winning things for the first time, which is all part of this experiment. Let's go in then and have a look at the Greek national team, shall we? See how they've got on. So we started off in 61st position. They have at one point moved up to 28th in the world. Slipped all the way down to 111th in February 2023. Rising back up to 52nd in around February 2024. And currently reside in 75th position in the world in February 2027. Next of all, we're going to go and have a look at the transfers then. So transfers, we want to go back to, I believe, yes, so this is the season where we started the latter part of this episode off today. And it's Aldo Kalaku, who moved from Toulouse to Xanthi for 48.5 million. He's now at Aston Villa. So he played 54 games for Xanthi, scoring 15 goals. Lewis Schaub from Southampton to Xanthi, still at Xanthi, Lewis Schaub, and 32 years of age, obviously coming towards the back end of his career now. Joshan Van Sporen looks like a regen, is a regen, now plays for Man City. Looks really good actually. Had a few seasons at Panathinaikos before moving to Aston Villa, who look to be massively outperforming their real life counterparts. Go further down the list, but obviously I'm conscious of the fact we don't want to run out of time. Aso Boskovic, Montenegrin, regen, now playing for Aris after coming over to AEK. David Carmona moved out to Tottenham after coming in from Manchester United. Pedro Neto in from PSG. Looks reasonable, 27 years of age, now plays for Liverpool. So coming, played 107 games for Panathinaikos before moving out to the Premier League. A lot of players seem to be doing that. Bashila from Cologne. Then we had Usman Boua, decent looking defender indeed. They're a really solid player, now plays for AS Monaco. And we've got Cedric Duhamel from Marseille to Aris, 24-year-old regen. Solid player indeed. And that completes that. And so now we're going to go in and have a look at the schedule for the players. We're going to go into filters, and we're going to go in. We want to have a look at the European Cup and Champions Cup only. So we're going to go in, and first of all, we're going to have a look back at, I think it was this season, wasn't it? So they didn't get anywhere in 23-24, 22-23 again, no good. 24-25, they got through the qualifying rounds of the Euro Cup. They got into the group stages, but they got through to the first knockout round, but went out to a brace of 1-0 defeats at the hands of West Brom. Season after that, they didn't get through the group stages. PAOK, let's have a look at those. There we go then. Didn't get through the group stages in 22-23. 23-24, again, group stages got the better of them. Did make it through to the first knockout round, beating Roma, before Leverkusen in the second knockout round saw PAOK Salonika out of the competition. Didn't make it through the group stages there. Didn't get through the qualifying rounds there. And that was the end of their campaign. So the next team we're going to have a look at then is Olympiacos. And we can see here that the group stages were as far as they got in 22-23. Group stages, again, they managed to get through the following season, but were knocked out in the first knockout rounds by Benfica. Didn't get through the group stages of the Champions League. They had a tough group there with AC Milan, Barcelona and PSG. Absolutely no chance of getting through that. They then got through the group stages. They didn't actually. They got knocked out in the qualifying rounds at the hands of Maine in 25-26. 26-27 didn't get through the group stages, but had Toulouse, Madrid and Leipzig to deal with, and obviously not a lot has happened since then. So what we're going to do is going to have a look at the Champions Cup, see if we've got any Greek teams that have added their name onto the list, and there isn't any at all. Let's see if we can get the European Cup, see if anything's come up there for the Europa League. So Everton have won the Europa League, that's good. Liverpool have also added their name to it. Leverkusen have won it twice. Leipzig, Man City, West Ham. But unfortunately, no Greek teams have made it as yet. Hopefully, when we have a look at episode 3, which is going to be 15 years in total into the future, so it's going to be another 5 years from now, maybe the Greek teams can break through finally. They haven't managed to do it as yet. One quick thing to do then before we go today, boys and girls, is to have a look at what kind of managers we've got here. Now, we know Xanthi haven't got a manager. PAOK are managed by Luis Pereira, who has spent time as a player. He managed Brentford, was the Liverpool under-23 manager and the assistant under-19s manager at PAOK, and he's developed reasonably well. He's the manager of PAOK. Olympiacos have Matthias Almeida as their head coach, who spent time at Xanthi, was with River, Banfield and Chivas, and is now the manager of Olympiacos. Now, Panathinaikos are managed by Ronald Koeman, who needs no introduction. A lot of you guys will already know who he is. Aris Nikolai Dika, Larissas, Georgios Donis, Panonios, Christos Bourbos. Hanya are managed by Manolo Jimenez. I've already looked at Hanya. Platanias, Nicholas Manarolis, AK, Socrates Papastopoulos, and Doxus Dramas Vincenzo Montella. Vincenzo Montella has come into Doxus Dramas. Was at PAOK, spent time at Offi, has obviously managed Italy in this game, was AC Milan manager for 6 years prior to that. Very good stats, was an excellent player for Roma back in the day. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, the second instalment here of this FM18 experiment. We'll be back probably in 2 or 3 days time with the third and final part of this instalment, where we're going to have a look at 15 years into the future. Hopefully some of these Greek clubs that you see before you now can make the breakthrough into the European stage with either the European Cup or the Champions League. And maybe the Greek national team will be able to advance higher up the ranking. Currently sat on 75th position, I believe. Let's double check that. 75th position. So guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, leave a big fat thumbs up down below. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel and you want to see more Football Manager 2018 content. I hope you have enjoyed the second instalment of the Greek Billionaire. I have been Jamie, and I'll catch you again in the next episode.